"Keep the sweet one and send the older girl back," my mother said beside a cake that read "Forever Family." Hours later, I found my 14-year-old daughter at the front door with a blue bag, ready to return herself to foster care so her little sister could stay. Then her phone lit up with my mother's name. What had my family been telling her behind my back? The zipper in the hallway sounded louder than anything my mother had said at dinner. I stepped out of my bedroom and found my older daughter beside the front door. She had pulled her winter coat over her pajamas. One hand held a blue duffel bag, the other rested on the deadbolt. "Where are you going?" She did not look at me. "Back." "Back where?" "The group home, the agency, wherever they put girls like me." I moved closer, but not too fast. Children sent away more than once noticed sudden movement. The zipper was half open. Inside were 3 shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, 1 pair of socks, and a toothbrush wrapped in a washcloth. No photographs, no stuffed animal. Nothing she could not carry in one hand. Ordinary children pack for a trip. Children moved too many times pack for escape. "You are not leaving this house tonight," I said. Her fingers tightened around the strap. "If I go before court, you can still keep Lily." For a moment, I could not answer. Lily was asleep upstairs with her stuffed rabbit. The adoption hearing was the next morning. We had spent almost a year working toward that day. "I am not adopting one of you and sending the other back." She finally looked at me. There was no relief in her face, only panic. "You cannot take away her home because of me." That sentence told me more than any report ever had. She did not see herself as a child who needed protection. She saw herself as the price everyone else had to pay. I stepped between her and the door. My hands were steady. "Lily does not get a family by losing you." Her phone lit up inside her coat pocket. A message preview appeared before she could cover the screen. "Once the older girl is out, Lily can finally have a normal family." The sender was my mother. A second message followed. "Do not let Diane turn this into a fight in court." I did not take the phone from her. I had promised not to search her things without permission. "How long have they been sending you messages like that?" She looked down and pulled the bag closer. I asked again, more softly. She still did not answer. Instead, she whispered the question that broke something open inside me. What if the judge agrees with them? I looked at the blue bag, then at the hand near the lock. Tomorrow, the judge will not only hear what they say, she will read what they wrote when they thought no one but a frightened child would ever see it. I did not know what the judge would decide. I only knew my family would face their own words. 6 weeks earlier, that blue bag was still under her bed, and I was naive enough to believe time could teach my family how to love both girls. To understand why she believed them so easily, I have to go back to the first day she entered my house with that same blue bag in her hand. That blue bag had entered my house 11 months earlier, long before I understood what it meant. Lily came through the front door, holding a stuffed rabbit by one ear. She smiled before I finished saying hello, then asked whether the bedroom door locked from the outside. She asked it the way another child might ask where the bathroom was. Rachel followed with the blue bag in one hand and her coat still zipped. She checked the window, the backyard, and the stairs. Then she asked where I kept the phone and wrote down the caseworker's number. One child had learned to smile first, so adults would soften their voices. The other had learned to find the exit before those voices changed. Lily unpacked that afternoon. Rachel placed 3 shirts in a drawer and left everything else inside the bag. I did not tell them. No one could ever move them again. Children who have heard too many large promises usually trust the smaller ones first. So I promised things I could prove. I would knock before entering. I would warn them before visitors came. I would not search their bags or phones if I said I would pick them up at 4. I would arrive before 4. If a plan changed, they would hear it from me. A week later, a storm knocked out the power. Lily woke crying, and before I reached the hallway, Rachel was already at the bedroom door. She tapped 4 times against the frame. Then she asked Lily to name 4 blue things. The blanket, the curtain, the stripe on the rabbit, Rachel's socks. By the 4th answer, Lily's breathing had slowed. I watched one child calm another with the steady hands of someone who had done it many times before. Rachel did not look proud. She looked tired. The next morning, I told her she did not need to keep the bag packed. She glanced toward the room where Lily was eating cereal. That's usually when people leave fastest. I did not ask her to empty it. I only said I hoped one day she would use it for a normal trip. Months passed. Lily began coming to me for small things. Rachel still checked the clock when I was late, but she stopped wearing her coat inside. Then Karen called. The agency was ready to move toward finalization for both girls. Lily clapped when I told them. Rachel stayed quiet. Can a judge change her mind while we're sitting there? I told her the court would review everything. Karen believed we were ready, and I would tell the truth. I thought the hardest part ahead would be paperwork and patience. I did not know the first real threat would enter my home carrying a gift bag with only one child's name on it. The first gift bag arrived soon after Karen called. My mother carried it inside with Lily's name printed on it. It held colored pencils, a sketchbook, hair clips, and a yellow sweater. For our little sunshine, she said. Lily smiled before anyone asked her to. My mother handed Rachel an unwrapped gift card. Teenagers are impossible to shop for. Rachel thanked her. She looked at the bag with Lily's name on it. The difference was not the money, it was the thought. Allison moved my mother and Lily toward the window, fixed Lily's hair, then handed her phone to Rachel. Would you take a few for us? Rachel took 3 pictures. No one asked her to step into the frame. My father watched Rachel lower the phone. Then he looked down at his coffee and said nothing. I told myself Lily was easier to know. She hugged people. Rachel answered questions with few words. My family needed time and I needed them as support for the adoption. I called their favoritism adjustment because that word required less courage from me. The invitations began the next week. My mother wanted Lily at the children's baking table at church. Then came fall photographs, a holiday program, and a weekend sleepover. Whenever I asked whether Rachel was included, my mother gave the same answer. She'd be bored. Allison sent pictures of 3 dresses for Lily and said Rachel could enjoy quiet teenage time at home. After a while, I noticed every invitation had an audience. There was always a camera or a church group waiting. No one asked who sat with Lily after nightmares. No one asked who sat with Lily after nightmares. No one asked who understood the 4 taps, or why Lily stopped smiling when strangers touched her hair. They wanted the part of love that fit inside a picture. They did not want the part that required them to change. After another invitation for Lily, Rachel asked me a question. If they only want Lily, will you make me go anyway? I said I would never send either girl somewhere. One of them was not welcome. Rachel held my eyes. That's not what I asked. She was asking whether I would choose peace with my family if peace required her to disappear. I understood. I was not brave enough to admit it yet. Before I tell you what happened the first night, I trusted my family to keep both girls. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is there. I always read those comments, and it still amazes me how far one family's story can travel. The next morning, my mother called. She and my father had been approved for short-term respite care. She offered to keep both girls overnight. I heard an opportunity. Rachel heard a test. She might not be allowed to fail. My mother's offer sounded practical. As a single woman adopting 2 children, I had been asked who would help if I got sick or faced an emergency. The agency wanted to know I had support. My mother knew that fear. The court will want to know you're not doing this alone, she reminded me. She did not need to threaten me, she only had to say what I had worried about for months. So I agreed to one night. Lily was excited about making cookies. Rachel asked whether I would stay, when I would return, and who she could call if something went wrong. I sent my parents' address, the pickup time, Karen's number, and the agency's after-hours line. She took a screenshot of every message. Those are not going to disappear, I told her. I save things because it helps people remember. I thought she meant times and phone numbers. I did not understand that she meant promises. When we reached my parents' house, Lily saw mixing bowls through the window and hurried up the walk. Rachel stayed beside the car. "One night," I said. "Then I'm coming back." She looked toward the porch, where my mother was calling Lily inside. "People always say the part before they come back." I hugged her. At first, her arms stayed stiff. Then they closed around me so quickly I almost missed it. As I drove away, I checked the mirror. My mother had one hand on Lily's shoulder. Warm kitchen lights surrounded them. Rachel was still standing alone on the porch. That evening, my mother sent pictures. Lily had flour on her nose. She held crooked cookies and smiled beside Allison. Rachel was not in either photograph. I asked where she was. My mother said Rachel wanted space. Teenagers often preferred to be left alone. I accepted the answer because I wanted it to be true. The next morning, Allison sent a family picture beneath the maple tree. Everyone wore cream, rust, and brown. Everyone except Rachel. She stood at the edge in a gray sweatshirt, partly hidden behind a branch. Her hand gripped the hem. Her eyes were turned toward Lily. I asked whether anyone had brought clothes for her. My mother said Rachel had refused to participate. The explanation sounded reasonable. That was how my family hid exclusion. They made it sound like a choice. I heard Lily laughing in the background and told myself laughter meant safety. It took me months to understand that children sometimes laugh because they are trying to keep adults from getting angry. The call ended. My phone rang again. It was Karen. Her voice was careful. "There has been an incident at your parents' house," she said. Rachel had become physically aggressive, struck my father, and damaged equipment. I drove there with the worst picture in my mind. But the first thing I saw was not the mark on my father's arm. It was the blue bag beside my daughter on the front steps. Karen told me Rachel had become physically aggressive. My father had been struck on the arm. A phone stand had fallen. Lily had been frightened. Then Karen added that my mother wanted Rachel removed from the respite placement, but hoped to keep Lily until the next day because she had already calmed down. The contradiction cut through my fear. If Rachel was dangerous enough to be taken away at once, why did my mother want Lily to remain after the sisters were separated? When I reached the house, Rachel was sitting on the front steps. One sleeve covered her knuckles. Her face was so still that it frightened me more than anger would have. The blue bag rested beside her. I had left it under her bed at my house. "Why is that here?" My mother said she had gone into Rachel's room and packed because the girl was in no condition to do it herself. No agency worker had ordered Rachel moved. No one had decided she was leaving my home. My mother had packed the bag anyway. Through the glass door, I saw Lily. Her cheeks were wet. She lifted one hand and tapped 4 times against the glass. She stopped. Then she tapped 4 times again. Rachel did not turn around, but her shoulders moved at the sound. My mother said, Rachel controlled Lily. She said Lily deserved one peaceful night. Taking her home now would reward Rachel's behavior. Professionals needed to decide whether the girls should remain together. I opened the door. Lily ran into me so hard I stepped backward. She held my waist and looked past me toward the porch. "Is Rachel coming home?" "Both of you are coming with me." My mother used the warning tone she had used since I was a child. For once, I did not stop to make her comfortable. On the drive home, Lily held the edge of Rachel's sleeve from the back seat. Later, at the kitchen table, Rachel admitted she had knocked my father's arm away. She admitted the phone stand fell when she turned. She said she should not have used that much force. Then she stopped. I asked what happened before that. At first, she repeated only the part where she was wrong. Children who have been blamed often learn that context changes nothing. Slowly, the rest came out. Allison had kept taking pictures. Lily began rubbing the edge of her sleeve. Then she tapped 4 times. Rachel told them Lily was tired. My mother said she was still having fun. When Lily stood up, my mother held her wrist. My father grabbed Rachel's shoulder and ordered her away. Rachel struck his arm aside and turned toward Lily. The phone stand fell behind her. I looked at my daughter. You can admit you used too much force without accepting a story that begins after everything the adults did. The next morning, Karen called again. My mother had filed a formal request for separate permanency plans. She had also offered to become a kinship placement for Lily alone. That was when I understood the blue bag on the steps was not a reaction to one bad afternoon. My family had begun building a case where one child was the prize and the other was the problem they intended to remove. Karen came to the house the next afternoon with a folder under one arm. She explained that the report had to be documented. My mother's request to separate the girls would not be approved automatically, but it could not be ignored. Rachel admitted she had struck my father's arm away and knocked over the phone stand. She said she should not have used that much force. She did not mention the 4 taps or my mother holding Lily's wrist. Protecting Lily might sound like evidence against her. We wrote a safety plan. Rachel could not pull Lily away from another adult unless there was immediate danger. If Lily became upset, she had to call me. If I was unavailable, she had to call an approved caregiver or the agency. Rachel stared at the paper. So if she asks me for help, I ignore her? I told her no. She could call me, but she had to let me be the parent. She signed without arguing. After Karen left, Rachel folded her copy. It has my name on it. On paper, the plan kept everyone safe. In her eyes, it explained how adults needed protection from her. My mother and Allison kept sending examples. Rachel checked Lily's messages, waited near her classroom, packed crackers, and answered for her. Every example was true. What they removed was the beginning. Lily's birth mother had contacted them through another account. Rachel had searched for food when no adult came home. The girls had been promised they would stay together, then separated anyway. The most effective manipulation is rarely built from a complete lie. It is built from truths cut at exactly the right place. After reading enough reports, I began hearing Rachel through their language. Breakfast questions sounded like orders. Extra food looked like control. I need you to let me be the parent, I told her. I'm trying. That answer stopped me. She did not know how to stop protecting Lily, because no one else had done it for years. When Karen returned, she read that Lily had calmed down after Rachel was removed. Lily looked up from her coloring book. I wasn't calm. I cried because she was outside. Karen asked whether she was afraid of Rachel. Lily shook her head. I wanted her back. That evening, Rachel's phone lit up. A good sister knows when staying becomes selfish. She took a screenshot and turned the phone face down. Who sent that? No one. I kept my promise not to search her phone. Her silence no longer felt calm. Days later, I found the girls on the bedroom floor with index cards, my number, the medical folder, the neighbor's house, the nightlight batteries. Lily held one up. Rachel says I'll be fine because I know everything now. Rachel was not playing a memory game. She was preparing her sister for a life without her. I still thought she was afraid of court. I did not know someone had written the speech that would let them send her away and call it her choice. Lily's words stayed with me. Rachel says a good sister knows when to leave first. I called my mother. She admitted telling Rachel to think about what was best for Lily, but denied frightening either girl. I banned private conversations about placement, court, or adoption. She accused me of isolating the girls from family. People who manipulate others often call a boundary cruel instead of examining their behavior. Allison reminded me the court would review my support system. Cutting them off could make me look unstable. I agreed to one final dinner. Before we left, Rachel's phone lit up. Do not make Diane choose in court. Another message followed. You are old enough to ask for a home equipped to handle you. Rachel saved both and locked the screen. I told her she did not have to be cheerful, easy, or silent to stay with me. She looked toward Lily's room. What if easy is all anyone has room for? The dining room looked ready for a celebration. A white cake said "Forever Family." Allison placed Lily between my parents and moved Rachel toward the edge. I ended the photographs. During dinner, my mother invited Lily to church and another weekend visit. I said there would be no event that excluded Rachel. They said Lily needed normalcy and Rachel needed specialized care. Insisting on both might cost me both. Rachel asked to use the bathroom, then stopped in the hallway. I said the sisters would not be separated. My mother set down her fork. Then keep the sweet one and let the agency take the older girl back. No one corrected her. My father stared at his plate. Allison looked at her phone. I once believed cruelty arrived shouting sometimes. It speaks calmly beside a cake, promising forever. I took both girls home. After Lily was asleep, I heard the zipper. Rachel stood by the front door in pajamas and a winter coat. The blue bag rested beside her. On Lily's pillow were the stuffed rabbit and 4 blue dots. She planned to walk to the store, call the agency, and request a group home. If I go before court, you can still keep Lily. I said I would not become Lily's mother by abandoning her sister. Panic crossed her face. You'll throw away her home because of me. Her phone lit up. Once the older girl is out, Lily can finally have a normal family. Then another message appeared. Tell the judge the separation is voluntary. Rachel opened a folder labeled School. Dozens of screenshots filled the screen. They were teaching a child to call her own rejection a voluntary choice. If you are still listening, please tell me how satisfied you are with the story so far. Your comments show me that people are still walking beside me through this journey. Your presence gives me the encouragement to tell you how it ends. I sat on the floor beside the blue bag and asked Rachel to show me the first message. What I read was no longer favoritism. It was a plan. I sat on the floor beside the blue bag while Rachel opened the oldest screenshot. The first messages sounded almost kind. My mother said Lily needed chances to do things without being watched. Allison said giving her sister space would prove she cared. Another message said a mature older sister knew when to step back. Then the language changed. One difficult child could make the whole placement look unsafe. If the agency decided I could not manage both girls, Lily might lose her home. Do not make Diane choose in front of the judge. They repeated the same fear in different words. Repetition can make a lie sound like memory. I asked why she had saved everything. Rachel told me about a foster family who promised in writing that the sisters would never be separated. Later, the message disappeared from a shared tablet. When she told a caseworker, the adult said she must have misunderstood. After that, she captured anything containing the words placement, move, agency, or your sister. Why call the folder school? People do not look in school folders. Then she opened the message that made my hands go cold. Allison had written a statement for court. I believe a therapeutic placement would better meet my needs while allowing Lily to remain in a stable family. Rachel admitted she did not know what therapeutic placement meant. They had told her it was for children who needed more help than an ordinary family could provide. They did not only want her gone, they wanted her to accept responsibility for being removed. I asked whether I could keep reading. Then I asked whether I could copy the messages and send them to Rebecca and Karen. Rachel looked toward the stairs. What if they delay court and Lily loses the house? A right adoption that happens late is better than a wrong adoption that happens on time. She held the phone for several seconds. Then she placed it in my hand. Rebecca told me not to crop, edit, rename contacts, or delete anything. We photographed full screens with dates and senders, exported the conversations, and recorded Rachel's confirmation that the account belonged to her. When Karen reviewed the files, she called back. The phrases matched my mother's reports. Voluntary separation. Therapeutic placement. Lily's best interests. Family had claimed Rachel wanted to leave before she had ever said it. Footsteps sounded above us. Lily came down, saw the bag, and asked whether her sister was going. Rachel could not answer. Lily began rubbing her sleeve. Rachel tapped 4 times against the floor. For the first time, I tapped beside her. I could not erase the years Rachel had spent parenting her sister. I could begin carrying the responsibility she should never have held alone. Then Karen asked one more question. Had anyone told Rachel to lie about what happened during the photographs? The messages proved they wanted her gone. Now I had to prove how they turned one moment of protection into the story of a dangerous child. Rachel and Lily told Karen what happened without sitting in the same room. Rachel said Lily had tapped 4 times. She said she told my mother the pictures needed to stop. My mother insisted Lily was still having fun. When Lily stood, my mother held her wrist. My father grabbed Rachel's shoulder. Rachel admitted she knocked his arm away harder than she should have. Lily's account was simpler. Grandma said I had to smile one more time. Then she added, Rachel came because I did the taps. Their stories matched. Neither girl used the same phrases. Neither sounded rehearsed. Karen opened my mother's report. It said Rachel had frightened Lily by interfering. Then she opened one of the private messages. You always rush in when Lily gets upset. That sentence changed everything. My mother's own words admitted Lily had been upset before Rachel crossed the room. A lie does not always collapse because someone changes the story. Sometimes it collapses because they tell one version to officials and another to the child they are trying to control. Karen amended the report. Rachel's use of force would remain documented and the safety plan would stay in place, but there was no evidence she had caused Lily's fear. The agency had never considered separating the girls. Every warning about Lily losing her home had come from my family. I called my father and asked for the family message thread. He said sending it would betray my mother. You chose every time you read it and stayed quiet. I told him I would inform the agency that he had confirmed a coordinated discussion and refused to provide the record. 9 minutes later, the file arrived. My mother had written that Lily finally looked like one of us in the church photographs. Allison complained that Rachel turned every gathering into an uncomfortable lesson about trauma. Another message said that after the adoption, I would never allow Lily to attend family events without Rachel. They agreed the agency had to reconsider before the hearing. They never discussed school, insurance, nightmares, therapy appointments, or daily care. They did not want to parent Lily. They wanted to be seen beside her. To them, a smiling child proved their kindness. A watchful teenager threatened it. Rebecca warned the hearing might be delayed. Karen confirmed the agency still supported both adoptions. I gave them one instruction. If anyone proposed approving Lily alone, I would withdraw both petitions. Rachel heard me and went pale. You cannot risk her home because of me. No one gets to use her stability as a hostage to force you out. The next morning, Rachel wore the green sweater she had once tried to return because she did not believe she would still be there. When the courtroom door opened, my family was already inside with a camera and a gift bag. They still believed they were there to keep the child they had chosen. My family had arrived before us. My mother wore her church holiday suit. Allison held her phone. My father carried a camera. Beside them sat a gift bag with Lily's name. Allison raised her phone when we entered. No pictures until this is over. Rachel moved closer. Lily held her sleeve. Rebecca submitted the records. Judge Mercer reviewed them, then called a recess. She asked Karen for the amended report and had the clerk confirm the phone numbers. When court resumed, the judge asked my mother and Allison whether those numbers belonged to them. Neither could deny it. Judge Mercer read the message. Tell Karen you believe a home for older girls would be better for you. Allison's smile disappeared. The judge read another. If Diane cannot manage both of you, Lily could lose her home. Then she read from the family thread. If the agency is going to reconsider, it has to happen before the adoption is final. Each sentence changed the meaning of their report. What had sounded like concern now looked like pressure. What they called a choice had been written for a frightened child. Judge Mercer asked my mother why Rachel had been made responsible for whether Lily kept her home. My mother sat straighter. She understood the sacrifice we were asking her to make. The room went still. Allison said, Lily lit up every room while Rachel frightened people. They measured both girls by what they made adults feel. Lily made them feel kind. Rachel made them face what they preferred not to see. Karen spoke next. She did not excuse Rachel. Rachel had used more force than necessary, and the safety plan would continue. But Lily had asked for the photographs to stop. My mother held her wrist. Rachel reacted after the 4 taps. Lily had not calmed down when her sister was removed. She cried and asked for her back. The agency did not recommend separation. Judge Mercer turned to me. Do you wish to proceed? Yes, Your Honor, with both petitions. She asked what I would do if only Lily's petition could be approved. Then I will withdraw both. I will not become Lily's mother by proving Rachel was right to believe a family only has room for the easier child. Rachel stopped breathing. Judge Mercer looked at her. Rachel first said Lily could stay without her. The judge answered gently, I am not asking what you are willing to lose, I am asking what you want. Lily took her sister's hand. Rachel looked at me, then at the judge. I want to stay, I just didn't think I was allowed to want that. The judge accepted her consent and approved both adoptions. Their names became Rachel Bennett Carter and Lily Bennett Carter. Lily looked up. Do we get the same adoption day? Judge Mercer smiled. The same day. Outside the courtroom, my mother called Lily over for one private picture. Lily took Rachel's hand and walked toward the exit. The court gave us papers that morning, but a signature could not immediately teach a child that no one would return her again. The court gave us papers in one morning, learning to trust them took longer. We stopped at a small diner on the way home. Lily placed both adoption certificates beside the napkin holder and checked them every few minutes. Rachel kept hers beneath one hand. She moved her water glass farther from the paper. Is this permanent even if I get angry again? Especially then, I said. We work through it. We do not return people. I did not promise that nothing would ever change. I promised that one hard day would not erase her place in our family. The next morning, my mother sent an email. She said everything had come from love and concern for Lily. I did not argue about her intentions. I answered with conditions. There would be no private contact with either child, no photographs, no social media posts, no invitations for one girl without the other, no overnight visits or unsupervised time. Any future contact would depend on whether both girls felt safe. Allison replied that I was punishing the whole family. A boundary is not a punishment, I wrote. It is the condition required for access to my children. My father called 2 days later. He admitted he had read the messages. He had watched my mother carry the blue bag onto the porch. He had stayed quiet because he thought silence would prevent a larger fight. Instead, his silence made my mother's version sound like everyone's version. I accepted his apology. I did not restore his access. He could send one card addressed to both girls if they wanted to answer. That choice would belong to them. An apology can open the door to responsibility. It does not automatically open the door to children. Karen helped me find a new respite caregiver named Denise. She met us at a park 3 times before entering our home. She asked before touching either girl and spoke to both of them directly. I also joined a support group for parents adopting teenagers. There, no one looked shocked when I admitted that love and exhaustion could exist in the same room. Rachel practiced using words before her body became a shield. Lily practiced telling me when she wanted something to stop. One afternoon, in a crowded room, Lily crossed to me and tapped 4 times against my wrist. I tapped back and helped her name 4 blue things. Rachel watched from across the room. She did not step in. Later, she asked, if she does not need me to keep her safe, what am I for? You get to be her sister. 6 weeks later, Rachel received an invitation for a 2-night art club trip to Philadelphia. Her first answer was no, Lily might need her. The blue bag still waited beside her bedroom door. But the next time she opened it, none of us were preparing for a goodbye. Rachel read the permission form 3 times before she agreed to the trip. The art club would spend 2 days in Philadelphia. They would visit a museum, take a printmaking class, sketch in the galleries, and stay 1 night in a hotel. Her questions came quickly. Who would pick Lily up from school? What if she had a nightmare? What if Denise was late? Lily held up 4 fingers. I can do the taps with Mom. Rachel looked at the form again. She was not convinced, but she did not put it away. The night before the trip, she pulled the blue bag from beside her bedroom door. This time, she packed a sketchbook, charcoal pencils, headphones, pretzels, a paperback, her charger, and 2 sweaters. Lily tried to place the stuffed rabbit inside. Rachel handed it back. He has to stay and protect your pillow. The first time I watched my daughter pack that bag, she chose only what she could carry while running. This time, she chose things because she liked them. The next morning, Rachel did not ask me to promise that I would come back. She adjusted the strap and said, "Back Friday." "Back Friday," I answered. While she was gone, I did not fill her phone with questions. When she sent a sketch or complained about dinner, I answered. Lily slept in her own room. Once she came to me after a bad dream and tapped 4 times against my wrist. I tapped back, and we found 4 blue things together. On Friday afternoon, I heard a key turn in the front door. Rachel came inside complaining that the hotel eggs tasted like wet paper. One boy had sung the same chorus for half the bus ride, and her print had smeared. Lily ran to her. Rachel hugged her sister, but she did not check the windows. She did not ask who had visited. She did not reach for Lily's phone. She dropped the blue bag beside the stairs. "Is there anything to eat?" It was the most ordinary question in the world. To me, it was proof. The first time my daughter packed that blue bag, she was leaving to save her sister. The next time, she packed it because she finally believed she had a home to come back to. I once thought family was decided by blood, legal papers, or holiday photographs. I was wrong. Family is not the person who loves you only when you smile. Family is the person who stays when you are frightened, angry, imperfect, and harder to help than expected. A child's value is not measured by how comfortable that child makes adults feel. And silence never means a child has agreed to disappear. How satisfied are you with my decision to withdraw both adoption petitions rather than leave Rachel behind? Should I ever allow my mother and sister back into the girls' lives, or should those boundaries remain? Please share your thoughts about this ending. The blue bag remained beside the stairs. This time, it did not mean someone was leaving. It meant a girl had come home.